Hello, welcome to the Talking Cheese episode. I forget what this is. I think it's going to be number 5. It is August 15th, 2026. It's about 7:50 in the morning. Um Welcome to my whatever review, kind of just thoughts. I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, A Parade of Horribles a couple nights ago. What is today, the 15th? Saturday morning. So I finished it Friday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning. So I guess it's one day. I don't know. It's weird. I'm night shift. It's weird. Um, Basically, um, I just wanted to go through, like, kind of, I guess my rating real quick. I'm just gonna get out of the way. I like to get my ratings out of the way. I give it an 8 out of 10. I even put the rating in the thumbnail. Spoiler alert for everything. There's gonna be spoilers if you've never read Dungeon Crawler Carl, the series. I'm going to be talking about obviously things that happen. This is book 8. If you read the series and haven't read book 8, I'm going to be talking about what happens. Coming off of Faction Wars, into this floor with the heats and the racing. I guess before I get into like a little bit of it, overall, I think it was a little bit of a step down from the last book, The Inevitable Ruin. I think Inevitable Ruin was just so crazy and big to me in my head that it felt like such a climactic high point that, this was. I don't know what he could have done, wrote that would have made me like love this as much. So I didn't like it as much as the last book, but I still liked it quite a bit. When the heats and the races, like, when they started, I wasn't that big of a fan. But as it went on, I kind of just took it for what it was. And honestly, I was kind of more almost interested in what was going on with, like, in between the races. Like the things with the bar and Carl and them trying to figure out, like, is there like this like broken loophole to get people out? The things with the god, the girl, I forget her name, was it Eris? It was very confusing. I forget her name. I forget like everyone's name, like a lot of names. There is so much going on in this series. Like, it is just hard for me to keep track. I forget characters and stuff. And this book took me a few months to read because I usually read at work, and I started reading again last year. To give you like a little like reference, I started reading last year because of work. I had a lot of downtime. It was slow. When I started reading last year, I was able to go through all the Game of Thrones books. Within the first couple months of starting my new position, whatever. This book took me a few months to read alone. So that gives you a little, reference how things have changed and things picked up. And I still have a little bit of time, but like, I had like a week where I probably went through over half of this book, maybe. And then like I was lucky if I would get like parts of a chapter in or whatever, like throughout a couple months. Maybe this maybe took 2 or 3 months. I'll say maybe more like 2. I don't know. That's not the point. But so a lot of things happen. I kind of forget a lot of characters. Just, I don't know. I just the main things I want to get out there. I guess like I was saying, I didn't enjoy it as much as the last book. Um, but there's just so much going on, and I just can't help but wonder how this is going to end. This is the 8th book. I think he's planning 10, so there's 2 more. But it is such a hopeless feeling I get with these books. Not just what is happening, with the characters, and like, God, I really don't know how they get out of here alive. And there's always seems to be some sort of thing that Carl can come up with, that that will save their skins, but still some people die here and there. Daily NPCs, I feel like we haven't had like a big major death in a minute. Um, the last one, and I wouldn't even say they were a major death. The whole thing with the one of the strippers from the I'm blanking on the name, but one of the strippers, uh, you know, being in love with that. I don't even know what they're called. The weird kind of meat skinned bag thing, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. And then they combine them, and then the one dude, when they recombine them, he has the smite from the god, and then you know his lover is I forget what had happened, but he's like dying anyway. Oh, because I think his sword, his sentient sword, not sentient, it wasn't a sword, it was a sentient sock weapon that had like change in it, like teleported away from him. And now he's like dying or something and he's sick. So, they go off together against that god, and the god like says something like that's a good death or whatever. Like I thought that part was pretty sick, but I wouldn't say they were like major characters. But that, like, how I said earlier, where I like the things in between the races, like everything that was happening between the races that led up to that point in the race. You know, I was super. I like that a lot. You got parts that are just crazy ridiculous. The whole part with the kangaroo like monster and Carl having to wear like the skin costume, whatever, and then going in and then punching it out, and then they lose that race, of course. um it's just so much. It's just so much. The comedy with these for me, when I started Dungeon Crawler Carl, comedy didn't really do much for me. But I kind of got into it and accepted it for what it was, because everything that was happening, things happen so fast, and I just keep reading, and it sucks me in. So the comedy hits or it misses, but when it misses, I feel like there isn't anything too bad where that makes me like cringe, and a little bit. I feel like I had a little bit of like some eye rolling when I started the first book, but I kind of got over it, and I think he got better. My favorite little reference joke thing, I actually highlighted it. I need to highlight probably more. That'll help me if I ever plan to do more book reviews in the future. Was when they're in the text chat, and I'm gonna butcher the goat's name. Prepotent Pony. They call him Pony. Well, they don't all call him Pony, but he says Carl can call him Pony. I love that the Pony. I'm gonna call him Pony. I love that Pony and Carl. I love how Pony loves Carl so much, and I feel like there was gonna be this beef where like Carl was gonna have to kill him when Pony's I'm just gonna say his mom died, his owner, master, whatever. But anyway, they're in text chat. Pony says the width of a standard Lego brick is 15.8 millimeters. I would guess we're slightly larger, but that's a very good estimate. And then Luis types, how did you type the registered mark thing? Like, just, I love that little, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. And then Donut, it says and why. I highlighted that little segment. I loved it. God, I probably should have taken notes. That race too, where they're tiny and they're going through the house, and I don't know. It's just drink water. It's just so dark with like the memories of like, not even the memories. They're just like the what ifs, and how the crawlers that remain, like their lives would have played out in these different situations. And instantly I knew, I mean, I don't know if the author just kind of wanted to keep the reader guessing of why the people, the huge, I guess they're normal sized people, um, have like their eyes sewn shut like in an X, I was like, they're dead. It's because they're dead. Like I like got that shit instantly, and it's just such a, I don't know. It's very dark, and but I did love that race and how it's set up. I know that race is kind of like a two-parter of the last two. Either go down and they got to go up, right? But when they go down, um, when it starts, like in particular, I really love that race. Carl throwing the bombs, and I don't think I realized that he set that up for the seventh race when they go back up, like blowing the hole in the roof. And God, that dude that just is a bitch and like could have lived with them just doesn't and just tries to go and kill Carl. Like, come on, man. Donut man has grown so much. The whole like she kills that group that didn't leave, and I think they were racing against like Ellie and Imani. I think Ellie and Imani are together still. I forget the groups and everything, but the claw thing when Donut crushes them. It's just the characters coming so far. It's getting darker. It's just there's this like ever feeling of like dread, sense of dread as I'm reading, and just like who is gonna die, and man, it's just so I don't even know. And I could talk about the races longer, but I don't really remember them too well. I'm gonna be honest, because like I said, it took a minute. So just them getting out of the race, and thankfully when it was like I think it was Florin. I think he's the dude with oh my god, what's her name? What's the girl's name with all the kids in her head? I can't forget. I forgot her name. What? Lucia Mar and Florin, I think, were together, and then like Luis and Samantha, with them too. Not Samantha. What was her name now? Brittany, Luis and Brittany, right? I hope that's her name. Fuck. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Brittany. But I was when the races got combined, I was instantly thinking like, okay, this is gonna be like they're gonna actually have to kill like them. But of course, I love that. One of the things I loved was Carl is like me in this sense of like, well, he's nothing like me, but in one aspect, I guess I'm like him, is where you tell me something and I apply it to like the whole thing, like the whole way. So when Carl, like very early on in the series, is told like there are clues like everywhere, and I think he reads that in the Anarchist Cookbook, so that actually might be like book 3 when he actually gets it. So still early on, floor. What is book 3? I think book 1 is 1 and 2. Book 2 is floor 3, and book 3 is floor 4, I think. I forget. But whenever Carl gets the cookbook, and I think that's where the tip is, where, there are clues everywhere. There's clues in everything. There's always a way kind of thing. And, he, that just stuck with him, and then him figuring out how to get them all out of the race, basically alive. Always a loophole. The AI is very like, I think whether intentionally or unintentionally creates these things, you just got to kind of figure it out, and the AI, allows it. I'm liking the AI more as we go along, and that's why I wanted to kind of jump past the whole parade of horribles and him kind of explaining like the background of like the whole universe basically, and the primals and the are they primals? I forget. What is I'm gonna look it up. Carl dungeon. Let me see real quick. Sorry, dungeon crawler. Carl's race. I forget what the rate his Yeah, they are primals. Okay, that's what I thought. All of that and the whole explanation of how like they were this like, race, you know, kept killing each other, kept fighting. They decided to, kind of upload, or I don't know how he worded it, but basically kind of off. They all like will kill themselves and upload kind of like their consciousness into like this uniform thing where they like all merge into like this one kind of like, I guess, thing being. And then there's this group of people that don't want to do it, and then it becomes this war of the people who are for this like one consciousness thing, excuse me, and this whole people who are against it, and how the resistance basically, had this contingency. The was it the eulogist, I think, and basically kind of they planted these seeds. They thought they lost, and life grew from them, and then it became like what the universe is now, but they have no idea like what they are. So like everything is just an extension of the primals basically, and it's just so crazy. Like, and I'm super into it, and the whole parade of the horribles as he's explaining like his it's like kind of like speech, and you know they're like presentations with the parade, the floats or whatever, and just everything. God, and the parade float with the menu is so like stupid. I love that they're like kind of freaking out too, because I think the very first people on the float, the AI didn't like it, so I think he literally broke all their legs, which is fucking brutal. And the whole like menu people I think are panicking. I think they're like, oh fuck, and then like I forget someone else starts to wish that they tried more too. I don't know if it was the menu people or if it was someone else, but yeah, the destruction people I think had the easiest one, just with the tank and just shooting all that shit and their weapons. But man, Parade of Horribles, that rose this book to for me so high, like so much higher. Like I think like just the whole explanation, the whole shit that goes down. Finally, Emberus, I forget how his name is spelled, but Carl's god, how he like inadvertently kills him. The whole thing with the pig and the splooge, dude. Oh, I'm just gushing kind of like a little bit with the second part. It's a joy reading this series. It's a joy reading this book. God, I want more. I'm sad now that I'm caught up. It took this whole year to read it. I started in January, book 1, and I was so happy that book 8 was coming out, because as I was making my way along, I think this book came out when I was kind of getting toward the end of book 7, so I was able to start this immediately after book 7. It just took me a little bit to finish it, but oh, and the ending too, I highlighted this part, the part where the woman, I forget her name, she is like an expert, and she like kind of knew all this stuff, but no one took her seriously. She's talking about like the fairy tale of the universe, basically how it is like similar to what the AI, the story he told, and how people are taking, I guess, the word attack too literal, and that speech in its own right was, I guess, kind of like one of the attacks, and it was like a psychological thing. And I believe I'm kind of reading this. The part I highlighted is you're saying this 11th floor, which is about to start, is the second attack. What's the third attack called? This inevitable ruin in the fourth is called Bedlam, and it makes me think Bedlam Bride again. Gets a little fuzzy after that. And then the whole part, I think, is kind of like I kind of like it and I kind of don't, but I don't know how this series will end, but I kind of think this is the hint. The interviewer asked the like kind of expert woman, who is the one who stops it and how? And then she responds, well, we don't really know what happened in real life, but many people believe the apothecary is the one who stopped it. In the fairy tale, the princess takes control of the all tree by killing it, accidentally killing everyone she loves in the process, but this tempers the final attack, saving the galaxy. She then plants another tree, and this process starts all over again. Don't ever forget the story is a tragedy. So, the way I take it is if we substitute this princess with Carl, or even Donut, actually, you know, they basically, we don't know, I don't know who, I guess it would be the eulogist maybe, or I actually don't know. I, this is a series I'm gonna have to fucking reread for sure, but let's just say Carl, Donut, you know, either one or both, main protagonist, right? Kill whatever this main big bad thing is, the all tree, whatever. Won't kill everyone in the universe, but kills maybe everyone that they is in the dungeon with them, or has been in the dungeon, or just everyone that is in like this lockdown, maybe contagion, whatever the AI currently controls. The AI said it's basically taking control of the whole universe, so we'll see. But in my head, it's just kind of like where Earth is in whatever area, however far, like the solar system. I don't know if it's further than the solar system, our solar system, but yeah, like I don't know if it's like going to be all that in the universe, like everyone else far out gets to continue, but then you know that just means more crawls, right? I think in my head maybe, but so life gets continued and this process starts all over again. That is, I in my head, what happened in the past, not like more crawls, but you know, like with what their fairy tale, like obviously because the tragedy, whatever, life continued on, and this awful stuff is still happening, you know, like, so maybe I don't know what Carl and Donut could do. Like they don't destroy it, but say fuck like everyone else outside, and somehow I don't know. I really don't know how this ends, but I think this is a hint, you know. I don't know what the author is gonna do, but I'm into it. Real quick too, and then when the god that kills Umbrus leaves, I'm jumping everywhere. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm just going. But Umbrus dies. The god that killed him, I forget his name. You know, taking Samantha and Luis. I guess Lewis. Sorry. I'm thinking Lewis. You know how he goes into that pineapple cabaret, or he thinks, but ends up on floor 15 because they drag him out because they need soldiers or something like that. And then Samantha sending that fucking text. Do you know? I don't know. Like, I love Samantha too. Oh, I don't know anymore. I don't know what to say. Like, this is kind of like, I just wanted to talk about this. I can get like my immediate thoughts out, I guess. But I don't know. I have no one who is reading this. I don't know anyone, but I just wanted to throw out this little. I just wanted to talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl and just talk about how much I've loved this series, and I hope book 9 is good and great, and I hope it comes out soon. But I'd rather the guy take his time and make it as great as he thinks he can make it, and you know, not on George R.R. Martin time, of course, but you know, which I don't think this dude will. I think he's gonna finish this, and I'm excited. His little like think whatever makes me a little nervous. He says, what does he say? He mentions, luckily for me, I still love this so very much. My mind is always in the dungeon. I'm already hard at work for Dungeon Crawler Carl's penultimate book, and I don't want it to end. and they say once you enter the dungeon, dot dot dot. So he's got to continue this. I think doesn't got to. I kind of wish he wouldn't after 10, unless he can make it. I'm fine with people continuing, series expanding. Um, it's just I hope it's good, more than anything. I have no problem with more. I think a lot of people will say no, they're gonna ruin it, but I don't see how more of something can ruin something that's good. Like you can just take the good. I feel like it's it sucks that they make more bad of something because you want it to be good, but it does not. For me personally, doesn't ruin um something that's already made. That's great. What ruins it is kind of like the Star Wars George Lucas, redoing, adding those CGI scenes kind of stuff or whatever. But yeah, I think I wanted to throw this out there too, because like I said, I have no idea how this ends. It's just so crazy. There's so many floors left, and there's only 2 books left. So are they just going to be jumping? Are they going to be skipping? Like, I really don't know. But it's just hard. I think like in my head there are these 3 series that are just so big. Um, you know, one of them is Star Wars. One of them is uh Game of Thrones. Song of Ice and Fire, I'll call it that, because I feel like Game of Thrones is more of the show, versus Song of Ice and Fire is more of the books, but that's just me. And now Dungeon Crawler Carl, where these things, the creators, I feel like, stories, telling a story is hard, and I feel like they almost try to make it as realistic as it can be, right? And when you do that, it is so hard to like close it out, like, because when you try to make a story as lifelike as you possibly can, obviously there's just so much ridiculous shit that happens in Dungeon Crawler Carl, right? Like, it maybe sounds ridiculous to me to say that, but I feel like when you start introducing so many characters that he's introduced, and you try to, like, you have so much going on with inside the dungeon, so much going on outside, so much that happened like in the past, and he's kind of touching it all, like, it's so hard to confine that in a series of books. 10 books at that, because real life is life. It's just, it's not a story. It's just like, it's everything. It's like you can't, like, it's just hard. Like, to write a book on life would take a ridiculous amount of books. So I think I'm explaining this poorly, but basically what I'm saying is he is expanding so much that I feel like 10 books is almost now unrealistic. There's so much going on, and I guess that's kind of what I mean with how I compare it to those 3 series in my head, where there's so much that goes on. You can't confine it into a set series, I feel like. So I feel like I don't know if, like, okay, if he ends this Dungeon Crawler Carl, like, 10 book series, okay, let's say he ends it, and they get out of the dungeon, does he continue the series and call it something else? Is there like a series after the dungeon? And that's kind of what I want to know, and I would be okay with, because I'd be curious. Like I don't know what happens with the AI, I'll be honest. Like, is that going to be like the quote unquote final boss, really? Oh god, the thing with the worm and the pet biscuit too, and it becomes like this hot, like, thing that loves Carl. Like, oh my god, dude, I can't wait for the next book. So with whatever that thing was supposed to be, the final boss, and now it's gone. Sort of, it's there, but you know what happened if you read the book. And so is the AI going to be like the real final boss? They stopped the AI, whatever. Carl and his people are free. Um, in the dungeon, they regroup with the Earth people, the former crawlers. Do they form like this thing? Is there going to be like a war after, or the whoever is left out all over the universe? Are they going to try to like fight for what little control they can get back? Like I don't like. There's so many questions. Or does he just say fuck it and like pull the plug and somehow kill like everyone? I don't know, but there's a lot. There's a lot of questions in my head, and it's just interesting to think about where the series is gonna go, where it can go, and I don't know. Like I said, I need to reread everything. Like I'm not gonna reread it immediately, but I'm giving myself a little time. Maybe when he announces the date of the next book, I'll start going through these again. But it's been fun, man, and I'm sad that it's over. And I guess more than anything, that's why I wanted to do this video, because it's just now I gotta wait. um, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that's my Dungeon Crawler Carl, A Parade of Horribles review, or if you can even call it a review. I give it 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I think I kind of want to play a game of, let me rank the books then. Since, oh god, what is my Wikipedia? White. Where is... Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me go to, no, it's worse. Fuck. Goodreads. I was gonna go to Goodreads. I'm already here. I'll stay on Goodreads. It's just bright as shit. Alright. Let me think how I would rank them. Alright, I think number 1 is Inevitable Ruin. That's the best one to me. I think it's almost like a descending order. I'm gonna go Inevitable Ruin. I think I'm gonna go Bedlam Bride number 2. I think I'll go Butcher's Masquerade number 3. I think I'll go A Parade of Horribles number 4. Gate of the Feral Gods number 5. Anarchist Cookbook number 6. Book 1 Dungeon Crawler Carl number 7, and I'll do Carl's Doomsday scenario last. And I think that's my order. I think when the book started out, like, it was well enough to get me into it, but when 4 hit, and that was when I'm like, okay, I'm really, I think, into this. And then like Butcher's Masquerade, I was really into it. Eye of the Bedlam Bride, I fucking loved. Inevitable Ruin, I loved as well. So yeah, and A Parade of Horribles, I'll say I love I love A Parade of Horribles. The way I just talked about it, but I didn't love it as much as Inevitable Ruin. And I have the Bedlam Bride. I just love the whole card game thing. I didn't really feel it at first, but as it went on in the ends are ridiculous. Bedlam Bride end was crazy. Butcher's Masquerade, the whole thing is cool. Gate of the Feral Gods, I wasn't really feeling, but then it got to the end with like the dog, and like, yeah, I was in it. Anarchist Cookbook, I wish I could love it more, but I got so fucking confused with the whole train thing, man. And yeah, but anyway, I don't want to get all into all that, but there's my ranking. Thank you to whoever may have watched all of this and me like incoherently ramble. If you are listening, listening or watching this, and you haven't read any of the books, and you probably weren't even spoiled with anything I said. Just what I said made no fucking sense to you. But please read this series. It's It's a great series. There's a TV show coming out. I don't know when. I hope it's good. It's gonna be live action. I think that's gonna work against it a little bit. I think it would have been better animated, and I get why it wasn't. Just I think animation isn't as popular. It's just people, think it's more kiddie than anything. But I'm just, come on, man. Like they are not going to, I feel like, adapt this one to one, and I want it to be adapted like one to one as much as it can be. And the CGI, like, are they gonna really invest that much money to make it look that great? I don't know, but it is what it is. I'm gonna watch it, and I hope it's good. I'm gonna read book 9 when it comes out, probably day one, or start it anyway, get it. But that's it. Again, thank you to whoever may be watching or listening. I hope you have a good day and or night, and